everybody, it's Justin from Bitterbuilt, and I'm at the International Woodworking Fair 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia. There's over 1,100 booths here, so we're going to walk around. We're going to check out all the coolest things that we can find today on Bitterbuilt. Before we get started, I wanted to apologize because the audio in this video, it was really, really loud there with saws and dust collectors and all sorts of stuff going off. So I had to heavily edit this video so that you didn't hear that. It would be really annoying, but you might notice that the audio might be a little bit off in some places. So I do apologize. So we're over at Sandman Products with Nate. Hey, Nate, good to see you.
How you doing?
So this is your product, the Sand Pro. It's a sanding table. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
It's a downdraft sanding table. It's completely self-contained. Smaller models would plug in 110 volts. Your dirty, dusty air is going to come in the top, and clean air is going to come out the bottom.
So I'm big on lung safety right now. If you've watched my channel, you know that I've had a medical scare with that, and so I'm taking this very seriously. So obviously you're set up for more of an industrial, heavy working shop here too, but you can configure this for an at-home, beginner, intermediate, advanced, but small shop user?
Yeah, we would get all the way down to about a 4-foot by 2-foot model. It's going to have the same air velocity. It's just going to move less overall air as it's smaller.
Fantastic. Okay. And then what about a price point for your smaller, more consumer version?
We're going to start under $4,000. It's a great alternative to filtering the dust with your lungs.
Yeah.
So
walk me through. We're going to show a shot of this in action right now. Tell me exactly the downforce that we're getting. Are we just getting it right where we're standing, or is this really pulling air throughout the entire?
It's going to pull air throughout the entire area. The machines are going to come with these felt-lined platforms, so if we're sanding larger panels, particularly on the smaller models, we can still have the air rotate.
Oh, cool. Those have pegs too, so they're held in place.
Easily to move around. That way we can put a big door on there if we need to.
Oh, fantastic.
And not block all the intake holes.
Awesome. Well, I'm very impressed, Nate. Everybody, check them out. They're available directly online. What's your website?
Sandmanproducts.com.
Great. All right. Thanks so much, Nate.
Thank you.
I'm over at Titebond with Bob. Bob, Titebond is the go-to for all woodworkers. Yeah, I have all your products in my shop, but I didn't have this product. And when I was walking by, I saw that you have a melamine product that I don't see in the big box stores, so I want to make sure that everybody knew about it. Could you tell me a little bit about this one?
So it's a little more of a specialty product. This particular product is designed specifically to bond plastics. So it's going to have good adhesion to plastic, usually plastic to wood, but in some cases, if you've got a smaller bond to allow for drying, you can glue plastic to plastic. But again, you got to let it dry.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. And so then for this product, curing time?
Curing time is going to be very similar, on the MDF or to the particle board, since it's very dry substrate. It's going to dry very quickly. So usually the same amount of clamp time as you would regular glue, 15 to 20 minutes, okay. 30 minutes. If you're doing edge to edge of, say, melamine, edge to face of melamine, obviously that's going to take a little longer to dry because it's got to dry through the sides and not through the substrate. Usually about 24 hours for that.
Okay, all right, well, great. Well, Titebond is a trusted company that we know, so I'm very excited to see this because melamine can sometimes be a problem just because...
It can be, and in some cases, so like a UV cure acrylic surface, which is very, very difficult to bond,
yeah.
We find that this has good utility for bonding those substrates too, so
okay.
Designed for tough plastics.
We can find it on Titebond.com. Where else can we find it?
Amazon also does carry it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm over at the SawStop booth with Rick. Rick, great to meet you.
You too.
SawStop is, of course, known for its amazing digit-saving powers, but they have a new product out. Could you tell us about that, Rick?
Absolutely. This is our brand new Revolution miter gauge. What makes the Revolution miter gauge so unique is the patented technology that will give you unmatched repeatability and accuracy. We call it a Revolution miter gauge mainly because of this nice big knob here. When it's in the free position, you're freely able to move it to whatever degree you need. You can simply click that knob once and go to 1 degree increments. So every click gives you a 1 degree increment. If you want more accuracy, you can go to 1/2 degree. You want more accuracy, you can actually go to 1/4 degree. And if you want absolute accuracy, you can actually go to 1/10 degree. Every click on this Revolution miter gauge will give you 1/10 degree setting. Once you get to your setting, you just lock it in and you're ready to go. Also, really unique flip stop that's available with micro adjust on the front, and it's actually articulated to where it can either go flat up against the fence Or if you're using a sacrificial fence, it will flip over and it'll accommodate a sacrificial fence
that's
of up
pretty
to
nice.
3/4 of an inch.
Very cool.
Everything is tool free as far as moving goes. To extend out, you simply loosen this and you can extend it out as well. So 60-degree, positive and negative, super easy to adjust for stability and accuracy. Loosen and then tighten, it automatically clears the slop in the track.
That's awesome, Rick. So if you don't have a SawStop, are you still able to put this on any table saw that you want?
Yes, standard 3/4 inch miter slot can fit on any table saw. Of course, we would prefer you use it on a SawStop, but it will work on your other saws.
Okay, but good to know. Yeah. And then, you know, SawStop is not known as a cheap brand, but it's known as a premium brand. What is the price point on this gauge?
$449 for this miter gauge.
Okay, it's got a lot of features on it, so always keep that in mind. Yes. Thanks so much, Rick.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming by.
I'm over at Accurate Technology. I'm really sorry it's noisy over here. But I'm here with Henry. Henry, could you show us your accurate miter saw fence technology that you have here?
Absolutely. So we call this our Prostop. It allows you to bolt our linear measuring system to any stationary piece of equipment and give it a nice digitized fence. You can move the system around to get a measurement of your system here, fine adjust to get the exact measurement that you need, lock it down so you get consistent cuts. That's the absolute most important thing.
Okay. And the actual material that this is made out of, it's all extruded aluminum, or?
So this is all processed aluminum. We can make any custom design you need, although we have a lot of pre-built fence stops. So this is great if you're cutting a lot of material. By default, it just comes without this, just the paddles here. You can also attach a 45-degree if you're cutting those kinds of parts.
Oh, that's cool.
As well as the reach gauge if you're getting real close in there and you can't mount the fence as close as you'd want it.
That is very good, because I have a wooden version of this that I have up on my setup, and I actually had a tear-out explosion on it one time, where something got jammed up and it actually took off. You know, saws are always dangerous, even when you're trying to be careful. So I like a metal one right there. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
So how does this actually track the numbers on here? How is it an accurate measurement?
Yeah, so all of our measuring equipment here at Accurate uses our inductive scale panels. Back here there's just a track and an encoder. As you slide this across, the encoder reads across the inductive scale panel and tracks its location.
Wow, very cool. So what's the price point on a system like this?
It depends on the configuration and the length. It'll go anywhere from 800 to 2300. We'll make these about as long as we can fit them on a truck.
Okay, and then where can we find it?
ProScale, you can find them at proscale.com.
I was walking by and I saw an amazing cart. This is Trax, and this is Michael. Michael, could you tell us a little bit about your product?
Well, we're an innovative company, and we had requests for the final mile, which is taking stuff from the roadside on new construction into the house, whether it's drywall, granite, doors, and windows. So we made a particular cart that can travel through mud, over gravel, and through sand. It uses a track system on one end, like a half track from World War II, and foam-free casters on the other end. The way it works, it has these adjustable posts that you can move from one spot to another, so that you can so that you can customize your cart for what you're carrying. If you're carrying drywall, you can use a strap system and wrap the drywall around so the drywall doesn't slide off. If you are moving glass or granite, you can use these rubber stoppers that you can press up against your material so it doesn't wobble and go back and forth as you're traversing the job site.
So as somebody who's built houses from scratch, you know, when you're in an unfinished terrain, it's difficult to get your materials in there. And so this seems like a fantastic option for a contractor.
Well, hopefully we'll save a few backs with this.
Yeah,
that's been an issue that.
And broken product too.
And broken product.
Yeah.
That's true.
So what about MSRP on this item?
This starts around $9,000.
Okay, and then where can we find it?
You can find it at sawtrax.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Justin.
Appreciate it. I'm over at my friend's Elephas. This is Rita.
Hi.
And if you've watched my channel, you know that I've done several videos with them replacing my cutter heads on my jointer and my planer with their specialized helical cutting heads. I love this product. So what I want you to do, check down in the description below. I'm going to link both of those videos where I show their product in action rather than just talking about it here. You'll get more content out of it that way. I'm over at Freud, and this is a brand that all of us know in woodworking. It's at the big box stores. You guys have been around forever. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your proprietary cutting technology?
Absolutely, Justin. Thanks for having me. Ultimately, Freud is known as a company to provide innovation and solutions for the end user. And the technology I'm going to show you today is our Quadra-Cut design. Quadra-Cut's a 4-cutter head design found in over 80 different profiles in the Freud line today.
Okay.
The standard in the industry is going to be a 2-cutter head design. Regardless of any other bit or manufacturer on the market, they're all going to be that 2-cutter design. So Justin, what you notice here, my end result, there's a lot of fuzzing and tearing of the fibers of that wood.
This is not a clean cut on here.
To that end user, what's that mean? Rework.
Yep.
Rework ultimately is going to cost the customer time and money. Now I'm going to show you our Quadra-Cut design. Unique, proprietary 4-cutter head design from Freud. So again, you look at that edge.
That's a clean cut.
No rework, no extra time, money. My project, I can complete it easier and safer.
You know, one of the things too, when you get a rough cut like this, not only is it going to require more work, but it does have a propensity for additional tear out. So those fibers, when you're going and hitting them with a sander, or if you have to do another pass, you have the possibility of ruining your workpiece. So it's better to get it the first time every time, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Chris.
Justin,
of
thank
course,
you.
we can find it everywhere, but tell us where we can find it.
Freud's available at all your big distributors. If you can't find us, freudtools.com, online, find us there, and we appreciate it.
I'm over at Grit Automation. We were walking by, and you know, when you're a woodworker and you have a dust collection system, you have tons of blast gates, automation is awesome. So this is Marco. Hey, Marco.
How's it going?
Can you tell us a little bit about your awesome automation system that you have for dust collection in the shop?
Sure. What we're able to do is basically automate your entire dust collection system. So whatever tools you have, we can keep track of which one's being used and associate that to various blast gates or collectors or air quality devices in your shop, making for a healthy environment.
So as soon as I activate my saw, it's going to open the blast gate to
You
the
got
saw, turn on my dust collector.
Yep.
Fantastic.
We can do all sorts of different associations. So whether you have branch gates needing to open up multiple gates at the same time, or again, you want to turn on your air scrubber, or whatever collector you want to turn on, we take care of it, we automate it all.
Okay, and then in addition to your hardware platform here, you also have software in addition to this.
We do, so we keep track of all the usage of your tools. So we know how long tools have been used for, we can set up maintenance reminders. It can help diagnose things. So for example, if you see on our power graph within the software, you can see whether perhaps your bearings are going out on a particular tool because amperage is spiking way up. Okay. It gives you lots and lots of information about your shop.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, and so everything is kind of a la carte for the consumer because everybody's shop's different, right?
Yeah.
So where can we find your product at?
At gritautomation.com. If you go there, you can find out information about all of our products.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Marco. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
While editing, I didn't feel that I gave Grit Automation enough justice in my interview because this was one of my favorite things that I saw at the show. In addition to your automatic dust collection, it has sensors that you can put on things like your air filtration system. So when it detects dust in the air, it will automatically kick on. You can have key card readers that not only is that good for like a big business, but for education, you can assign a key card to a student, and as they are safely trained on how to operate a machine, they are then given access. So if they aren't trained on it, they can't turn a machine on. Super cool. There's location tracking and maintenance tracking, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you go check out their website. This really was one of my favorite things that I saw. I'm over at Rev-A-Shelf. Rev-A-Shelf is known as a big brand that focuses on organizational products. Laura, could you tell me a little bit about this wardrobe setup?
Sure. So this is our Sige wardrobe line by Rev-A-Shelf. And what's so cool about this is it's a modular system, and it can be, as you can see, it's placed on slides, and the metal frames can be adjusted to whatever size closet you might have.
And what's neat too is this large container down here, it's all metal construction too, but it expands with everything as well.
And then within these frames, we can put whatever whatever adjustment you want, basically, or whatever product you want. So you can put in this deep, like drawer-like.
So could this be purchased for a cabinet that's not from Rev-A-Shelf?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is something too that you could install to an already existing thing in your home,
Absolutely,
which is pretty
to make
nice.
it fit. Yep.
Yeah.
And so what's so cool is there's so many different designs. You could do your pants rack from one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do your laundry baskets here.
Great.
And then we have some shallow ones that you could put in your socks or your t-shirts. And then we have your jewelry and your sunglasses.
But then what really makes this cabinet really cool is this built-in lighting right here. So
it's our Neoloop square.
very cool. So that is a reason to buy your cabinetry to go along with
Absolutely.
it, of course. That is very, very cool. So can this light be programmed to like go on and off with motion, or it's like a button?
Yes. No, it can be on and off with motion, or it can be on a button.
Okay.
However you choose to do it.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
I'm over at Bora Tools. This is a name brand that most of us woodworkers know, and I'm here with John. John just recently told me that Bora has bought 2 new companies into the Bora brand. So why don't you tell me about them and their products?
All right. Armor Tool was, their whole concept is about self-adjusting clamps. So we're going to do a lot of new clamps that will fit with the centipedes and stuff, but they're pocket hole jig. When you put the wood in, clamp it down, you're going to notice that everything self-adjusts. The stop collar, which is critical on the depth of the hole, automatically adjusts. You have to just tighten this in. And then depending on the thickness of the wood, it tells me here what color of screw to use.
Okay.
All the screws are color-coded, indoor, outdoor. So you just pick the color that it's telling you here, and it's the right screw for the right job.
That's awesome. You know, I just did a video on pocket hole jigs, looked at a whole bunch of them. The configuration on this one is the correct configuration. I like when the clamp's on the user side, not on the rear side. Makes it a lot more convenient. And then how about the pens?
The clog-free markers, set of 3, retails about $29, $39. These are brand new into the U.S. Really, the markers in this industry are Sharpie markers, which were designed for the stationary industry.
Yep.
You use them around sawdust and oil and different things that are in the shop, and they're going to clog up pretty quickly. These will not do that. I've given these to some contractors, and they're very happy with how they do not clog up.
No,
So,
that's awesome.
whole different kind of product in the market.
Okay. And where can we find all the products?
All you need to do is go to armortool.com or Bora.com, put in your zip code, and there's a store locator for all that stuff.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're over at Harvey. Harvey's one of those big name brands that we all know, and they've been coming out with some really cool new innovations, in particular a new chemistry for your tops for all of your heavy use equipment. So Jeremy, could you tell me a little bit about your new formula that you're working with here?
Yeah, so what you're seeing here, this is our new nickel coating. It's a cast iron with a heavy, thick coating of nickel. So it is super chemical resistant, super physically resistant, so scratches, scuffs, and you know we've got a water test on it here that shows you that water is no longer your big enemy in the shop.
So we're never going to get the beer can rings again, right?
No more beer can rings.
Okay,
no
that's
more
good, that's
your
good.
kids setting stuff on here. Even in your high humidity areas, you know, you can have a humid night in your shop and come back and everything has that little hazy layer. You don't have to worry about that.
So definitely for people working in the South, like Florida, Louisiana,
Sure.
and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a good process.
And not only is the top coated, but also the internals. So the drive underneath on the trunnion is coated with nickel as well, so you don't have to worry about that rusting and binding up on you.
And then since it's a coating, under normal use cases, you're not going to damage that coating.
No, if you try really hard or have something, gouge into it, of course, you could. But under normal heavy use, you won't have any problems. It's super tough.
And I got to say, too, it's almost like you have a, one of the protective sprays on here. It feels very slippery more than like my cast iron top is.
And it looks great. It's shiny. So.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome. So thank you very much, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I'm over at my friends with Shelfology. I have done several videos with Shelfology. I really like their Studley brands that I used out in the garage shop. I'm here with Steve. Steve's going to show us their brand new floating shelf bracket that makes it so much easier to do floating shelves.
Okay, so traditionally we're used to seeing the axle bracket that came with the round rods. With the axle hollow core, specifically designed for the hollow core construction of, which is mainly what cabinet shops are producing. This gives you a square rod and it's flush to the top of that back bar, which gives you a nice flat piece to set down on for that miter folded shelf.
Yeah, and I like that it's flat on the top. When I heard about this new line coming out, I wondered if there was going to be a lip at the top and that I would have to route it out a little bit, but no, it's completely flush, so it makes it really, really easy. American-made company out in Idaho.
American-made in Idaho.
Right, and so you can find them at shelfology.com. Thanks so much, Steve.
Awesome, thank you.
So that was day one at the International Woodworking Fair in Atlanta. There will be a day 2 video, so if you want to check that one out, make sure you hit like and subscribe. That way you know when that one comes out. Also, special thanks to my buddy Amari for being my cameraman on this trip. We walked 6 miles a day, and he was carrying 35 pounds of camera gear that whole time, so I really appreciate it. I hope you'll stay safe in the shop, and I'll see you in the next one.